Hi friends, now we have the CAR SMG in Apex Legends, I thought it would be good to look at which is the best SMG in Apex Legends Season 11. In this video, I'm going to analyse all of the floor loot SMGs, and I'll give you the key stats so you can decide which weapon in the SMG category is best for you to use in Apex Legends Season 11. There are 4 floor loot weapons that are classed as SMGs. These are the CAR SMG, the R99, the Vault, and the Prowler. I'll go through the stats of each of these, and you can see in the categories which weapon is the best and which weapon is the worst out of all the SMGs. Let's start with the easiest stats, the damage per bullet. Now the Vault does the most damage out of all of the floor loot SMGs. You can see it does 23 headshot damage, which actually puts it quite close to an assault rifle like the R301, which does 25 headshot damage. In comparison, many of the other SMGs do a lot lower damage. The Prowler is actually in second with 21 damage per bullet. Then it's the CAR SMG, and in last place is the R99, which isn't surprising because the R99 actually has the lowest damage per bullet in the entire game. So clearly the Vault wins in the damage category. Moving on to fire rate. This is essentially how fast the SMGs fire in terms of rounds per minute. As you can see, the R99 is still the fastest gun in the game, although the new weapon, the CAR, is fairly close in second place. And it also becomes the second fastest firing gun in the game, in front of the R301. However, as you can see, the R99 wins the fire rate category, so it's 1 to the Vault and 1 to the R99 so far. Next, let's look at DPS. This is where the CAR steps up, showing how the combo of good damage output and fast fire rate makes it the best SMG in this category. The R99 is in second place here, because even though the damage per bullet of the R99 isn't very good, the fastest fire rate in the game makes up for it. Time to kill is the next category, and again we've got the CAR at the top as you can see. The fast fire rate with solid damage means it's a lot quicker to kill enemies, coming in at under a second, while the R99 hits a second exactly, and you see the Vault and the Prowler taking just over 1 second. This means the CAR wins the categories for both the DPS and time to kill. Now I do have a couple more categories to look at before you get to see which SMG wins the most categories. The next one is damage per magazine, and this one's quite important because if you think about it, the more damage you can do in a magazine, the more leadway you've got if you're missing a few shots. As you can see, the Prowler has the highest damage per magazine when you start getting into the extended mags, but at base level, the Vault has the highest damage per magazine. You can also see that with the base R99, the damage output for one magazine isn't actually enough to knock down someone with a red Evo shield, even if you hit every single shot, which is actually quite an interesting stat, as every other SMG at a base level outputs enough damage to knock even someone with a red Evo shield. Obviously you would hope by the time you face someone with a red Evo shield you would be able to find an extended light mag, in which case you'll be a little bit more comfortable with the R99 if you're missing a few bullets. However, if we look at it overall, I think it's fair to say the Prowler wins this category. The next category is popularity. I feel like popularity does sometimes come into our minds when we're thinking which weapon is the best, and so I put a poll out on YouTube to see what my community thought was the best SMG in Apex Legends Season 11 so far. Now I know it's a little bit biased because the CAR SMG is brand new this season, so probably lots of people are using it, but still you can see the CAR is a big winner here, so the CAR wins the popularity contest. The final category I wanted to look at is utility. Really, the CAR is the only weapon that can win in terms of utility. The fact that you can use either light or heavy ammo is just awesome, and it's one of the most unique things that we've got currently for any weapon in Apex Legends. The reason this is important is because one of the key elements of any battle royale is looting, and the fact that you can use either light or heavy reduces much of that loot burden when you've got the CAR. In addition to this, the fact that you can either use a light or heavy extended mag and it increases the magazine size no matter which ammo you're using is a massive benefit, because extended magazines can be sometimes quite tricky to find, and the fact that you've got 2 options, which is half the loot pool for extended magazines, is a big bonus for the CAR SMG, so it's got to be a big tick for the CAR in terms of utility. And what we can now do is look at the overall results for all these categories that we've spoken about. Which SMG wins the most categories? categories. As you can see, clearly the CAR wins the most categories with 4. So based on the stats, you could say the CAR SMG is the best SMG in Apex Legends Season 11. And to be fair, I think most people would agree with this because the CAR at the moment is shredding in Season 11, and I wouldn't be surprised if Respawn decide to nerf it a little bit in the next update. Like with any weapon, player preference always comes into this though, and perhaps you prefer the recoil of the R99 or the Volt over the CAR, or perhaps you're better with burst fire and so like the Prowler. That part is always going to be personal to you, so guess what, it's absolutely fine if you don't think the CAR SMG is best for you personally. The idea of this video is simply to offer you some guidance based on the statistics for each weapon, and you can clearly see from these statistics that the CAR SMG wins most categories. Hopefully, at the very least though, you will have learned some interesting figures about each SMG, and that will help you make an educated decision which SMG you want to main in Apex Legends Season 11. Don't forget to like and subscribe, I've got plenty more Season 11 content coming your way. For now though, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you later.